Okay. Okay. This is Bridges for Music. First off, we at the Bridges Academy would like to thank Pioneer for their involvement in this podcast. Secondly, a big thank you to you, the listener. Your support makes this podcast series worthwhile. From groundbreaking techno and pioneering live sets in the 90s, Secret Cinema's impact is felt worldwide. Join us as we learn more about the evolution of Secret Cinema's sound, proving that after 25 years, the quest for musical excellence continues. This is the Bridges for Music podcast, and this is Secret Cinema.
All right. Hello, everybody. And thank you so much once again for joining us in this episode. Quite amazing and super exciting. Today, we've got an international award-winning artist. Listen, we are so excited. And you know how it goes. I go by Ulebo K, and I'm never alone. How's up, my nigga?
Seko
Of
son.
course.
Hola.
I know you're super excited for this one, right?
Yes.
So let's get into it. Tell us. Who's here, my friend?
Secret Cinema.
Ooh, I'm not that private anymore.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so I think before we start, everybody's itching to know who is Secret Cinema, and just tell us, take it back before Secret Cinema, and yeah.
Well, the first record from by the name Secret Cinema was in 1994, but my first release was in 1991. And I made it in 1990, so I'm already in the business for quite some time. But the name Secret Cinema came when I first released Timeless Altitude.
Yeah.
And
yes,
it's funny that this EP is still being played right now after
awesome.
almost 30 years. Yeah, and it's called Secret Cinema because, you know, when you're on the dance floor or you're listening to music, you see images in your mind that only you can see, and that is your secret cinema.
Funny enough, on that, actually, when you were in class and obviously showing us how you make the music, you actually took us to a Secret Cinema, because I had to close my eyes and be like, what is happening? So many beats coming together. That is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I thought you were just holding your head like, oh no, this music sucks, but actually...
It took me somewhere.
It took you somewhere. Well, I'm really happy to hear that.
So, is the record you just mentioned, Timeless Altitude, is that the one that actually made it on the Belgium Top 30?
Yes,
Okay,
actually, that was my first release on... no, it was not. It was on EC Records, and my friend that time is called Jeroen Verheij.
Yes.
And he had the label EC Records.
Yes.
And he knew me because he was together with another famous guy who is called Paul Elstock, and he was the founder of Happy Hardcore. And they were working together in a record store because, record stores are the place where you go, you find records, and you also put your demo cassettes because most of the record stores have labels. That was back in the day. And they were good friends because they were both DJs in a club. Okay. It was called Blue Teak Inn. Yes. And one of the founders of the house culture in the Netherlands, he owned the label, and his name is Peter Slaghuis, and he did a track called Jack to the Sound of the Underground. We all think it's Fast Eddie, but actually this man was behind it. And he was gay and very white. You know, not like Barry or something, but he was a cool guy. And he wanted to release my first record. It was Sonar System, Meng Syndicate. And from that moment, Misha was like, wow, you know, can I release one of your records once? And then, he started his own label. And already back in the day, there were some labels not really running their stuff well. Yeah. Yes. And then this whole distribution thing collapsed. And then Michel said, you know what? We're going to do it ourselves. And he already had a label, and release number 5 was Secret Cinema Timeless Altitude.
Yes.
But I was myself working at a record store called Hot Sound. And Misha was coming there to listen to music and buy records and vinyls. And then I showed him the track, and he was like, okay, let's release this immediately.
So, what's the connection between Secret Cinema and Graveyard?
Grooveyard.
Yes,
Grooveyard. You know, if you play late, you have the graveyard shift.
Oh, yes, I think that's what he was thinking about.
If you're grooving, you know, you're Grooveyard.
Yeah.
You know, Secret Cinema was more like club music with a more harder techno influence. And Grooveyard, the name says it, has more like a, more for your hips, more for the
sexy.
ladies, sexy, Grooveyard, and more based on samples, from Jimmy Castor Bunch, because, I was influenced a lot by hip hop when I was a kid, and I would do breakdancing on the street and all this kind of stuff. And there was a really famous documentary called Big Fun in the Big Town.
Yes.
And there's a Belgian guy who was a radio and a documentarist, and he went to the Bronx when it was really hardcore, LL Cool J in the beginning, Doggy Fresh, the beatboxing king. And he, as a white boy, he went into there and he just wanted to interview everyone. And it was in 1986. And then I saw Schoolie D, and that was, basically freestyle rapping, but just one turntablist, one 909 drum machine, and Schoolie D on the mic. And they would do 1.5 hours of concerts, just these two of them. And that inspired me so much. And then, it was 1988, and we call that in Europe the Summer of Love. That was when techno and a lot of all kind of brain stimulation stuff came into people's heads. Yeah, and then it all started. I was on the dance floor and I heard techno for the first time in my life, and I was like, okay, I am going to make this music for the rest of my life.
Yes.
And here we are 33 years later.
And I think the most interesting thing about music and just sound in general is that it doesn't need much, you just have one piece. I could make music out of a clap.
Exactly. And for me, a lot of people will say that, but Africa had a big influence on me because the groove is just unbelievable. You have water drummers, and I think it's Ethiopia. They use just the ocean and they splash the water, but it also makes a whoop sound. And they're drumming on the water, and then, with the group singing, drumming on the water. With the minus means of creating music, rhythm is actually what keeps us ticking, because our heart ticks on the rhythm as well.
Definitely.
So Nigeria had a big influence on me, and now I was talking with a lot of people what's going on in South Africa, and there's so much talent. And that's why Bridges for Music is actually hopefully bridging the gap between it doesn't matter where you come from. When you make great music, you should show that to the rest of the world. And
True.
That's why it was no issue at all. It was a pleasure to actually come here, because I love this. I want to see what is the talent. I want to know. Otherwise, how would I end up here? It's a blessing, actually.
Yes, and we're also blessed to have you, actually, and it's quite interesting, as said. Also, with one of the things that Bridges does without bridging the gaps of music is that they take care of our artists, right? So I want to ask from you before I even explain. So when you hear mindfulness, what does that mean to you?
Well, to me, mindfulness means that you need to believe in the capabilities of yourself and don't get diverted by what other people tell you. You got to believe in your path, in your mission. And if you truly and 100% believe in your capabilities, you will be able to reach anything.
Definitely.
And that, for me, is mindfulness, that you are one with yourself, but you're not egocentric.
Yeah.
You give without wanting something back.
Yes.
Only love.
Yeah. And for so many years having to survive, and obviously you're still here, you're standing, doing whatever you like, it takes a lot from you. So what would you say keeps you insane? Like, what do you do? What do you practice? That's the thing that keeps you insane.
Which keeps me insane. Well,
Keeps you insane.
A lot of humor, actually. And the best thing about this is meeting people. I've been I played on every continent in the world except Antarctica. But those few polar bears, I don't know. They're more looking for food. So the thing is, because I stayed true to myself, like I was lucky to be able to make the music I want every day. But that also means that I meet people that know me because of my music, not because there is a big billboard hanging somewhere or there is like a big record company pumping millions into people's minds. So most of the promoters that booked me are also friends for life because we think alike. They think like me because they like my music, and that is mindfulness actually in the essence.
Yes.
And that is for me the most that's keeping me sane to meet all these people that think alike, and did you see this movie? Did you read this book? And you always learn something from someone talking to everyone. I mean, only today I already learned so much, So when you have your last breath, you should have the most questions, actually. Yeah. And then you'll forever, and they'll all be answered in a very nice way, I think. That's what I hope for.
Okay, so Secret Cinema, you actually won Best Dutch Producer.
Yeah.
Best Dutch Single, right?
Yeah. 2 years in a row,
yeah. This was like back in 98, 97, I think.
I think it was 1995 and 1996, yes.
Okay.
And then, that one track is called Grooveyard Merry Go Wild.
Yes.
And I made it in 1994 already. Because I thought there were just not enough ladies on the dance floor because, all these techno beats. And my girlfriend actually at that time said, you should make something with a melody because then women will like it more.
So
and
women are influential.
Yeah, for sure, because you guys have much more feeling. And I made the track and I showed it to Michel de Heij, and then he said, actually, I think the melody can be a little bit better. And then the next day, there it was. I had Merry Go Wild. And I called it Merry Go Wild because I want, Mary is the female name. Right. Yeah. Go wild on the dance floor. Yeah. And that became, my biggest hit. I hit top 12 and in the Dutch top 40.
Yes.
And it hit number 1 in the all-time top 1,000 of all dance tracks in the Netherlands. So there was Underworld, there was Felix, all the big names, French Kiss. And I was voted number 1 once. So that was really nice that it worked. And then after that, actually, some guys made a book about 30 years of dance history in the Netherlands. Mm-hmm. Yes. And they called it Merry Go Wild because they felt that message. Yeah. So they were interviewing all the DJs that ever exist, producers, and before they started writing the book, they understood this is the thing because, those rough beats are not really sensitive maybe, but in the end, everybody loves techno. They just don't know it yet. Oh, nice. And they understood this kind of message, and that's why they wanted to call it Merry Go Wild.
Okay, so do you think because of those awards, it also helped you to break through into the international scene?
No, actually, those awards were just in a Dutch magazine. Yes. And there was not really internet or social media or whatever yet. So if I would have won those awards later, then that would have helped me to break through internationally. But from the first record that I made... the first record that I made was that Sonar System, and I made it on a computer with only 512 KB of main memory, so half a megabyte. Yeah. So all your phones are 10,000 times faster. It doesn't, for sure. Never. And then Richie Houghton and Speedy J already, the guys from Detroit were like, "Whoa, how did you make this track?" and stuff. So from the first record I released, it was already internationally known, and I sort of inspired a lot of big name DJs to start creating music, which I didn't know, but they only told me later, like Adam Beyer, he told me, and Paul Rich, and so many. It's nice to be influential, but I don't do it because of that, but it's so nice to get that in return sometimes, because that also keeps you going.
Keeps you go, of course.
Because I am under the radar. I'm not a big billboard, but to be able to do every day whatever I want with the thing that I want most is the most beautiful thing, but also the biggest burden, because you go to bed with it and you wake up with it.
Yeah.
It's 24/7 or nothing. And sometimes the taste of the people changes.
Yeah.
And then you need to adapt. And are you still true to yourself? So all those questions, you know. And then when something like this happens, you know what you do it for. Again.
If you want to listen to these conversations live and have access to this incredible community, you can join us at our physical campus, the Bridges Academy in Langa, South Africa. A revolutionary learning space where you will find courses on music, entrepreneurship, film, DJing, and much more. For more information on how to apply, visit bridgesacademy.org.
Awesome. Actually, that takes me to the next question. You kind of did answer it indirectly, but I would like it to be really directed to the young producers around us, because you gave us a feel of how you do music, which was quite different from the basic education that we have. And most of these producers don't know that there are actual tools out there that are free. Because when you think of music, and also just like when you think of pirating, we go that route because we're like, oh, these things are expensive. And as much as we want to, have some impact in the music industry by buying the music, but like, what's the best thing you can give to advice to an upcoming producer who's still starting, and best way to make themselves stand out and also continue throughout the years?
Yeah, well, indirectly I answered that. So first of all, you need to believe in it 100%.
Yeah.
If you doubt it, it's no.
Yeah.
It's 100% or nothing. That's first. Second, you need to love what you make. If you make music for other people, who are you?
Yeah.
So that is very important. And by showing that there are people out there that have an open source community where you can just tap the plugins from, and you can create music with barely anything. That means that we're not the only one, and that's what I wanted to show, that there are people that are creating these things. They're making maybe money on another level. They're maybe IT specialists or something, but they have music as a hobby, and they give us tools that are free. And that's why I wanted to show this also, because like you said, it should not be a border,
like a barrier.
And if you just have one microphone and one little sampler, you can, if you really, really want it, then there are always ways that you can save a little bit, and you can maybe buy it secondhand from a music store for very cheap. That's why I also use the most cheap controller that you can find, but I'm using it every day in the studio, and I'm every day surprised that it works so well, And then just jam.
Yeah.
Just jam it.
Always have fun.
Don't have your face in the computer screen too much, Always jam, because our burden is that we cannot pick up the guitar and play. We need to search a bass line. We need to do this. We need to create everything. And with this, if you make this little setup and you work with that little setup every time, you're going to get so creative that in no time you're going to create tracks just out of the blue. And you just wake up, you have an idea, hop, and you make the sound, and you make the clap, and you make whoop, and 5 minutes later start recording, and it's there. And that is what we want. We want to play it like a drum, like a band, that is really why I wanted to do this workshop. Because I think it's the foundation, right? That we can all jam together, and if we can jam electronically together, with very limited means, but in a community, you can create a group, you can do it solo. There's so many opportunities. And keep the groove and spread the word, and lyricists, everything.
Yeah, and music brings people together.
Yeah, of course. It's our language.
Of course.
It's our language.
It's our office, we would say. Like, go to the room, it's our office. I love it. So while we're on that, what's next? What are you doing? What are you working on besides obviously come to our school? What are you doing else?
Yeah, the thing is that, I've been in the business for a long time. Okay. I have my own agency. It's called Jam Bookings, but not JAM, but it's GEM, like
jam.
a jam.
Okay.
Because I started jam sessions, because before I was a DJ, I only played live always. I brought all my instruments on stage, and I played all my music live by turning knobs and all that stuff, because I'm a producer. So I created the jam session nights, and then I would invite another live artist, and then we would not practice. We would just set up everything and start jamming, and then for 3 hours live set, and people would come to that, and we called it jam sessions.
Awesome.
And then we started a label called Jam Records, and then the agency with Jam Bookings, and then there were many big artists in our agency like Enrico Sangiuliano, Reinier Zonneveld, Egbert. It's all techno, of course, because I'm a techno guy.
Yeah.
But so I'm scouting new talent, just before the breakthrough. I'm grabbing them and pushing them forward and hoping that they can live the life that I have lived until now. And build this community together. So now there are 3 ladies in the agency, which I'm really happy about. I was searching for cool women that are, that you have a vibe with, because you need to have a vibe with someone.
Yes.
You shouldn't do something just for the money. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And so far that was a good idea, because everyone is we just create this community. You can call it family.
Yes.
Community is a much better word, actually. And I see them flourish, Olympus, she's more like a melodic techno artist. She joined us last year, and she only played in Italy, and now she's traveling all over the world and within 1 year.
Nice.
So I always keep my ears open and check releases, and usually it's by meeting people and also how they respond to feedback that I give to records that they produce. And every once in a while everything clicks, and then you need to go for it.
Awesome. And I'll tell you one thing, you're at the right place. Talent overflows right here. So I'm really hoping that our co-creators, alumni, and everybody that steps in the building will take this opportunity, especially this one next to me. Are you listening?
Yeah.
He's a big techno fan.
Yes, cool. So this is why I set up this little competition.
Yes.
So you guys can win something. You can win some gear. You can win a BitLick license or a VCV license. I didn't approach them yet, but I'm sure they're gonna give it to me. And if not, I'm gonna pay it for you guys. I don't mind. I want you to have the pro version.
Perfect.
And I'm now at this turning point, like, okay, am I gonna pursue my DJ career? No, I want to do actually this more, and I wanted to do more masterclasses, and now this is the second one in 3 weeks' time, and I didn't do anything for it. I just thought it, and Bitwig came to me by themselves, do you want to do a masterclass at Amsterdam Dance Event? I didn't ask them.
Yeah.
And then Levi asked, do you want to do a masterclass here? I didn't ask anyone.
And
it
there's
just
more
comes.
coming. I'm telling you, there's more coming.
And that's why, because I want to see what's going on. I want to see what's the talent and what you guys have in store. Because, Africa has the groove, it has the soul.
Yes.
Everybody knows this.
Yes.
And a lot of people lost it, And if we can bring this back, then, we will save... we'll save the world.
So, another thing I wanted to ask, right? Not many people want to be producers and actually go and perform their tracks, right, on stage. Others like the whole idea of like being
standing
behind.
in the background,
So, what advice would you give for someone who actually wants to produce but do film production? Maybe like for a movie, like on your personal level, because I know you have tapped into that too.
Yeah, I tapped into it a little bit, but I taught myself everything. I didn't do conservatorium or no music school, nothing. So I will never be a film producer, I thought, until there was a short movie and this guy wanted a piece of techno in the movie. So first I thought I'm gonna only do the techno, and then I ended up doing the whole film score together with another producer together. And that won the Grand Prix d'Annecy, which is the best animation prize that you can win.
Yes.
So I could write that to my name, but that the Hollywood movie score scene is so crazy. I think, you really need conservatorium because you're working with 256 channels to start with, record orchestras and all that stuff. But my advice is, if you want to do this, why don't you take a piece of a movie, take the soundtrack out, and build your own soundtrack under it.
Wow.
And then you put that online, and then maybe someone will say, hey, wow, that is a cool soundtrack.
Yeah.
Let's invest or let's do something, because now we have the means to put it out there. Be creative.
Yeah.
Try everything. Recreate, because it's always if it's getting exciting, there's those power drums.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Do that and like make it maybe minimal or whatever. And it's also nice to actually have a little visual that you can create music on and then see what happens.
Okay.
And then if you're not using that at all, maybe it becomes a track. So it also works the other way around. I know Kenny Larkin is doing that a lot, famous Detroit producer. And he has a screen, and then he just loops a certain movie, and then he's creating sounds under that, and then starts to make a techno track. So
Nice,
there's many different ways, and if you put it out there, who knows? Who knows?
Label, okay. So this is probably why I actually wanted to do this. Okay, so this background of this question, right? There's this event called like Awakening Festival, right? And on the main stage, you don't just get to close.
Yeah.
Like you need to be the king.
Yeah.
To do that.
Sure.
Like only certain people got to close, and we're sitting with one of them. Actually.
Live.
I feel like I'm there already. I feel like I was there. Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, it took 18 years to because I had that name or award. What do you call it? I closed the Loveland Festival also live, but Awakenings Festival is internationally huge, and until last year. Actually, this year I was the only live artist ever to close, Dutch live artist to ever close since 2005.
Okay.
So kind of like, cool. But now Reinier Zonneveld took that over because he closed it live last year.
So when you this term live, do you mean that you don't use like the CDJs?
No,
and like
I use my own songs, my own equipment live. If I don't turn it up, it will be a loop for 1,000 years the same. But I had to turn every knob live, every filter, every bass line coming up, and I had 2 similar SU700 setups. And I will start and go, no escape. And then closing.
That takes a lot.
No. Yeah.
But that was the only thing I was doing. So
I think it also actually explains the masterclass we just had. Like,
dude, and we were like, what? And you make it look so easy, and it goes back to when you're enjoying something and you're really true to what you're doing, it comes as easy. We look at it like, I said when I call it's musical science. What is happening?
It is actually. It is musical science, but it is also science because everything is a voltage, everything is a frequency.
Yeah.
yes.
We can touch this microphone because it has a certain frequency that it stays together. So everything is vibration, everything is frequency. So it's also nature, it's also physics. So that's why I wanted to explain it. It looks super complicated, but you could see just with one bass drum sound, I already had the bass line going, and then we created a clap. Or you can create a hi-hat out of that one single noise sound. And then you can imagine, I wanted to show you like from what it's made of from the basics, because then you start thinking, if it's made like this, then if I combine this and this and this, I can create the sound right now.
Yeah.
Instead of going to preset after preset after preset that sounds a little bit like what you have in your head.
Yeah.
You can just think like, I want to create this sound right now. Boop, 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 boop. Have it.
Sure.
Takes you 2 minutes if you practice. And there is free tutorials online done by Omri Cohen, and you watch them on YouTube. I will put that all in the folder from this masterclass or workshop, and then you guys can follow it. And then if you go through it, you will master it like I just showed you, because I taught it myself in 1 year with the help of Omri Cohen's online free YouTube tutorials.
Yeah.
And then you go to the essence of things. And now when I say, okay, I want to create a sound, I can just create it in 1 or 2 minutes. I don't have to search through thousands of presets, which let the idea run away.
Yes.
Or you use one synthesizer for one thing, you know, just this one only for bass lines, this one only for synths. You can also do that. Limit yourself a little bit, because out of limitations becomes creativity.
Yeah. Awesome. And once again, we're very excited and happy that you did come and join us today. And I really hope that the alumni and the co-creators will actually follow those steps and excel in being the greatest producers. And guys, make sure that you reach out when you're given these platforms, so it makes it easy and we can all be great through music.
Yes.
But I think for now, that was an awesome interview. Thank you so much for joining us. From myself, Ulebu K, and
Seko Akitam.
and our secret cinema or guest rather. Thank you guys for listening. Till next time. Bye.
Bye.
I've been talking.
Thank you.
That was awesome. Thank you so much. You made it so easy.
Easy talking.
Thank you.
In one take.
Yeah. One.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this podcast as much as we do making them. Remember, if you'd like to attend any of these workshops live, enroll in any of our upcoming programs. To support the work we do, you can find more information on bridgesformusic.org. Please don't forget to subscribe, as we'll be bringing new inspiring conversations soon. Until next time, keep safe.